You hear so much buzz about generative AI these days. It can almost feel like trying to learn a whole new language, can't
It
it?
really can. It's everywhere.
But for our listeners, people who want to cut through that noise and really get a handle on how this tech is, changing industries, where the investment's going, how companies are actually making this work sustainably.
Right. Building real businesses.
Exactly. That's what we want to get into today. Think of this as maybe a shortcut to understanding the practical side of generative AI, building on what you might already know.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, our mission here is really to explore the actual tangible applications, see where it's making a difference across different sectors.
Okay.
And definitely look at the investment scene because, wow, there's a lot happening there. And figure out the business models. How are they making money?
Yeah. How does it actually work as a business?
Exactly. And the sources we looked at really zero in on these key things.
Perfect. Okay, let's dive in then. Where are we seeing generative AI really move past the hype phase into actual impact?
Well, one fascinating area, I think, is healthcare.
Healthcare. Okay. How so?
Imagine AI that can look at medical images, X-rays, MRIs, that sort of thing. And it can spot potential problems faster, sometimes even more accurately than a human doctor.
Wow.
For patients, for you listening, the potential there is just huge. Earlier diagnosis means
More effective treatment, usually?
precisely better outcomes. But it's more than just spotting things in images.
Oh.
Yeah, what's really kind of mind-blowing is how it's speeding up medical innovation itself. Like drug discovery.
Speeding up drug discovery.
Well,
yeah.
and developing personalized treatments, too, tailored right to an individual. But the drug discovery part, a really incredible example, is generating totally new protein structures.
Generating proteins from scratch.
Essentially, yes. The AI can design potential drug candidates computationally. Think about the time that saves.
That must cut down development time massively. And costs, presumably.
Oh, massively. It cuts down the time, the resources. It's a huge accelerator for medical progress.
It really is staggering to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, so healthcare is one big area. What about finance? That touches everyone's lives.
Absolutely. Finance is another sector undergoing, well, a pretty significant transformation. Think about financial fraud. The global scale is just enormous, right? Billions lost every year.
It's a huge problem.
Generative AI is proving really, really good at spotting those subtle patterns, the weird little anomalies in data that might signal fraud, things humans might easily miss.
So it's like a superpowered detective for financial crime.
Kind of, yeah. And that could prevent just massive losses. For banks, for individuals, for everyone.
Okay, that's fraud detection.
Yeah.
What else in finance?
Well, connecting it more to sort of your everyday financial life, think about personalized advice.
Like robo-advisors, but smarter.
Exactly. Potentially much smarter. Instead of generic advice, you could get, say, investment portfolios truly customized to your risk tolerance, your specific goals.
That sounds appealing.
And then there's algorithmic trading. AI making super fast trading decisions based on analyzing huge data sets.
Right.
The idea is that could lead to more efficient markets, maybe even more stable, though that's always a complex picture.
It definitely feels like this AI stuff is weaving its way into almost everything, even like manufacturing, which feels so physical, so hands-on.
You'd be surprised. Yes, manufacturing too. Big strides there.
Such as?
Take product design. Classic example. Designing, say, an engine part.
Okay.
Traditionally, engineers iterate, right? Design, build a prototype, test it, tweak it. It takes ages.
Lots of trial and error.
Tons.
Yeah.
Now, generative AI can explore literally millions, maybe billions of design options in like no time at all.
Billions. Wow.
And find the optimal solution. Maybe a part that's way lighter, but just as strong or even stronger. Something an engineer might never have come up with on their own.
So for consumers, for you listening, that could mean better products, more efficient cars or appliances, maybe cheaper ones eventually.
Potentially all of the above, yeah.
Yeah.
It leads to big efficiency gains for the companies, reduced costs. That gives them a serious competitive advantage.
Makes sense.
And it's not just designing individual bits and pieces, it's also being used to optimize the whole supply chain, make production lines run smoother.
So sort of optimizing the whole system.
Exactly, which again, ultimately should benefit the consumer. Lower prices, faster delivery, hopefully.
Okay, so with all this amazing innovation, It's no shock that the startup scene is, oh, you said it, exploding.
Oh, it's absolutely booming. Venture capital is just pouring money into generative AI startups.
A real gold rush, then.
You could call it that, yeah.
Yeah.
A gold rush built on really cutting-edge tech. And for you, the listener, that means innovation is happening super fast. New tools, new solutions popping up constantly.
What kinds of startups are we seeing? Are they all doing the same thing?
Not at all. That's what's interesting. You've got a real variety. Some are focused on very specific niche applications.
Like,
maybe AI tools just for generating marketing copy, or tools specifically for creating unique images or videos for businesses. Very targeted.
okay.
But then you also have startups working on the sort of fundamental building blocks, the infrastructure.
What does that mean? Like the plumbing?
Kind of. Things like creating better, bigger training data sets, or finding more efficient ways to actually run these powerful AI models because they take a lot of computing power.
Right. The underlying tech needs to improve, too.
Exactly. So it's a really dynamic market, changing all the time.
Okay, so you've got all these smart people, all this investment, building these powerful tools. Yeah. But how do they actually make money? How do these companies stay afloat long-term? What are the business models?
Yeah, that's the crucial question, isn't it? We're seeing a few main strategies emerge.
Okay.
The software as a service model SaaS is really common. You pay a subscription fee, monthly or yearly, to use the AI platform or tools.
Like we do for lots of software now. Makes sense.
Yep. Then there's a pay-per-use model. Your cost is tied directly to how much you use it, how much data you process, or how many images you generate, that kind of thing.
So consumption-based.
Exactly. And then, of course, some companies license their core AI technology to other businesses. Yeah. They build the engine, someone else builds the car around it, so to speak.
Okay. Licensing the tech itself.
Right. And potentially down the line, maybe monetizing the data itself, though that brings up all sorts of ethical questions we've touched on before.
Right. Definitely need to be careful there. So it sounds like the big challenge for these companies is finding that sweet spot, right? Making the tech accessible, but still being profitable.
That's absolutely central. Balancing access with a sustainable, scalable business model. It's tricky.
And are there other big challenges? Hurdles in the way?
Oh, definitely. A huge one is just the sheer cost. Training these big generative AI models takes enormous amounts of computing power and data.
Which costs a lot of money.
A lot of money. So that's a pretty significant barrier to entry, especially for smaller players. It could really shape how the market develops, maybe favoring the bigger tech companies with deep pockets.
That makes sense. Cost is a big factor. What else?
Well, data bias is a critical issue. If the data used to train the AI is biased,
then the AI's output will be biased too.
Exactly. Which can lead to unfair or discriminatory results. That's a serious problem.
And the ethical concerns we mentioned. Deepfakes, misinformation, that hasn't gone away.
Not at all. Those are major concerns. It means, for investors, for anyone getting involved, you really need to do your homework. Understand the risks as well as the opportunities.
Due diligence is key.
Yeah.
Okay, so trying to look down the road a bit. What does the future landscape look like? What should we be expecting in the next few years?
Well, if you connect all these threads, it seems likely we'll see more consolidation.
Meaning bigger companies buying up smaller ones.
Yeah, acquisitions, big tech companies with the resources snapping up promising startups to get their tech and talent. That happens a lot in booming tech sectors.
Okay. What about the technology itself?
It's just going to keep evolving, become more powerful, hopefully more efficient too. We'll see models that can do even more complex tasks.
So better, faster, stronger AI.
Pretty much. And ultimately, I think you can expect generative AI to become much more integrated into daily life.
How so?
In how we work, definitely. Tools to help write, code, design. Also, in how we learn things, how we interact online, maybe even with the physical world through AI-powered devices. It'll become more ambient, perhaps.
Wow, so really woven into the fabric of things.
I think so, which, again, underlines the need for responsible development. We need those ethical guidelines to make sure we avoid unintended negative consequences.
It certainly sounds like a transformative time ahead. Exciting, but also needs careful handling.
Absolutely. The whole generative AI landscape is incredibly dynamic, no doubt about it. Full of potential. The applications are huge, the investment is flowing, and people are figuring out how to build businesses around it.
But always with those challenges and ethical points in mind.
Crucially important to remember those. Responsible innovation is really the key to unlocking the true positive potential here.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you go about your week, maybe just ponder this. With AI getting more integrated, how might it fundamentally change your job or even just your daily routine, maybe in ways you haven't even considered yet?
That's a great question to leave people with. It's definitely something worth thinking about as this all continues to unfold.